all day. So, hey y'all. Okay, well, wow. I am waiting for my guest speaker to get on. I am just going to go ahead and kick it off, get started. So welcome to Real Resilient Conversations. I am your host, Quita, and welcome to the platform where we take crazy topics and we find a way to make you more resilient with your everyday life. So, of course, I'm your host, Quita. I hope that you are ready for Monday, and you are ready for a beautiful, beautiful week. I know it's been a little while, so oh my goodness, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. We just taking a little time. I am so sorry for everything that's been going on. I had a birthday, and then I haven't been feeling well, so I am grateful to be back and to see y'all. It's been a little while, y'all. It's been a little while. So, I am having a hot flash. I wish I had a fan. So I know that that with the unusual topics, I know y'all like this girl. I'm having a hot flash. Having a hot flash. With our topics being so, give me 1 second.
How you doing?
Sir, you are on a regular chat line, not on the live. So you have to go onto the live broadcast and then request. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. So, there we go. All right, y'all. So what we trying to do is, so role play, of course, if you have not guessed, is not necessarily role play, but it's more so on gender roles and how gender roles play a factor in everyday life today. So back in the day, we always knew that the men were the providers, the men were the ones who took care of the household, and the women just stayed at home. They cooked, they cleaned, they took care of the kids. That was their role in the past, right? So in the past, with gender roles, we always say what? It's just what it is. We gonna make sure that we give our men the space that they need in order to be providers, and we take whatever it is that they can provide. And since then, of course, we have evolved over time, and women are working. If you have if you have not stepped into the 20th century, women are working. Women have degrees. Women are taking this world by storm, right? And so we are hardworking. We are driven. And depending on who you talk to, they don't need a man to take care of them, or a man say they don't need a woman to do for them. And so with gender roles, it plays a, oh, you can't hear? Let's see. Sorry. I don't know why you can't hear me, sis. Can you all hear me on Facebook? Give me a thumbs up. Give me some type of sign. And then if you are on IG, give me a thumbs up, some type of sign that you can hear me. Maybe, kind of, sort of. You know, I don't know if it is. Okay, awesome. Okay, so with that, it is, sorry y'all, with that, the mindset that we are only, there's no sound on IG. Okay, so I'm gonna hang up on IG and come back. And now, delete. Let's try this again on IG for those of you who could not hear. All right, so we'll try that again. Paddington, I guess you decided not to go on the Instagram route. Let's see. Because I do not know. Okay. Hey, Dee Dee, how you doing, girl? I do not know how to add you on to onto this platform, sir. So go back on Paddington Bear, go back onto awesome. Go back onto Real Resilient Conversations and go to the live. Click on the live because I have 3 people on the live, so I know that they're on the live. So Paddington, go back to the live on Real Resilient Conversations at the top panel and click on the live, and then I should be able to join you there. All right. Otherwise, I would have had to join you ahead of time, I believe. All right. Hey, Shelly. All right. So when we're talking about role playing and figuring out who plays what role, who is supposed to wash the dishes, who's supposed to take care of the kids, who is supposed to go to school, who is supposed to have the degrees, who is supposed to do X, Y, and Z, right? So when we're talking about role playing, at what point do you say, you take care of the finances, you take care of the kids, I only have to go to work, and then I come home and you take care of me? So whenever we are looking at the roles that people feel like they should be playing, it now becomes a cluster, if you will, a cluster of who gets to say so, or if I take care of the kids, you don't get to say what they wear to school or what their school pictures would be like or whatever. If I make more money, you have to shut up and color, so to speak. That is not how we operate in today's world. So I think I'm trying to join in people, and I am not, let's see. And I am not seeing our guest speaker on there just yet, so I'm going to give him a couple more minutes. So the opportunity to show forth, if I make more money as the woman in the relationship, do I get to dictate where you go, when you should be back, what you should wear, when you should be home, if you can hang out with the boys because I make more money? Do I get to determine what you get to eat? Do I get to determine, you see what I mean? So there are so many. All right, let's see. Sir.
How you doing?
Wonderful. Did you go up to the top and go to where the live was posting?
I tried to.
The live, there's other people on the lives.
Let me try.
Okay. All right. So, hopefully my people who are live on Instagram will not get turned off. All right. Always fun whenever there's a change, right? We have to be resilient. We have to be able to bounce back when there's a change. So, with that, because it's still saying paused. And man, oh man, what a day. It's always crazy when you come back from a long, crazy break, right? All right. All right, he's saying that it's giving him an error. I'm not quite sure why. Because the other people that log onto the live, they're able to see, and then I can invite them. So just log on to the live, sir. And then once you log on to the live, I should be able to invite you in to speak. Okay. All right. So, for those who said how we operate, I don't think that we operate in that manner anymore. I do think that times have changed and we have evolved over time. So now we're able to make money. We're able to fight the good fight. We're able to, now guess what? Men and women both can contribute to the household. Both have a say-so in how the house is built, how big the house, how small the house, what type of car they drive, because each of them are making their own money. And they're able to do so without worrying about how, if my husband or if my wife is going to be upset with how much money I'm spending. That also goes into, I know some people, when they raise their children, they put them in name brand clothing, and the other mate may or may not put their children in name brand clothing. I'm like, Walmart does just fine. They're going to grow out of it in 2 weeks anyway. But whoever I'm with, if they say, no, I want my son to wear Jordans every time that they leave his house, so be it, sir, but that will come out of your check, not out of mine. So we have to be mindful. If I cook, do I expect you to wash the dishes? Right? I've been in a relationship before. That was just the agreed upon way that we handle things. If I cook, then he cleaned the dishes, or he washed the dishes. He cleaned up the kitchen. If he cooked, then I was in there scrub-a-dub-dubbing. There's some women who say, I don't fix plates for men. Men fix their own plates. I still like to fix my man his own plate. I still feel like that's just my upbringing. That goes back to the conversation before. Do you feed the children or do you feed the man first? I feel like when you married, you feed that man first. He is still the head of the household, whether he makes more money or not. He's still the head of the household. So you still want to make sure that you are interacting with your mates and having those hard conversations, so to speak, to say, I still fix your plate first. Unless I'm hurting, I just can't, or something else come up and you cooked and I'm not there, then you make your own plate. Then you make sure and take care of the kids, or you take care of the kids and then take care of yourself after, however. But if I am the one that's cooking, or I'm the one that's fixing the plates, I'm going to make sure my man's plate is fixed first. So my role, when it comes to that, then I still feel like as a lady, as a woman, I want to make sure that my man is taken care of. I don't want him to have to feel like he has to go anywhere else to be with anybody else in order to get that need met. However, there are some men who say, no, let me take care of you first. You sit down, you sit at the table, let me take care of you, which is a nicety. However, it does not happen every day. Does that mean that we should that should be our new norm? Maybe and maybe not. If a man wants to be catered to, should a woman not be catered to as well? And if your respective mates are not doing that, should they not be stepping up their game? Right? Okay, let's see. Yo, I don't know how to send you the link. While I'm on. Also, Paddington, did you add Real Resilient Conversation as a friend first before you tried to go on there? Or did you just try and add it into the chat? That may be why you're getting an error. Okay. All right. So, all right. I'm not sure why you are getting an error with the live. Let's see here, because I'm running out of time. Sorry, y'all. Y'all be patient with me. My two people that are on Instagram, are you able to hear me? Janelle and Anthony, are y'all able to hear me? All right. So she is, let's see. So, Paddington, I tried to add you under the conversations, under the real crisis. I'm not sure, sir. Did you get the notification on there whenever I tried to add you into the conversation? Okay, let's do that. I think I figured it out. We're gonna see y'all. All right, so I'm having a hot flash. I don't usually have hot flash. I donated blood today, and I have been having a hot flash all day. So going back to if your spouse makes more money than you, your intimacy levels. Okay, now he's on here. Wonderful. All right, so let's try and add him now. All right. All right. Wonderful. So he is on there. So we're 2 seconds from being able to hear his story. So while we are waiting for him to get in here, what I want to do is make sure that you understand how he became a guest speaker. So he became a guest speaker because, of course, I always ask if you have a topic you want me to discuss, go ahead and send it to me in the email, inbox me. This is your opportunity for us to discuss it. So I really wanted to give him the opportunity to give his story and what made him want to bring up the topic, and really give him the opportunity to share why he felt this story was something that was worth us discussing. Don't know. And I'm saying that you declined. All right. So, what I'm thinking is, if...
My bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, there he is. All right, we have. So, Facebook, you cannot see him. However, you will be able to hear him. So, I am going to introduce my friend from, many years now. I guess it's been about 9-10 years or so.
Yeah, about 10 years. That's crazy, right?
Right. So, I want to introduce, this is The Real Crisis. The Real Crisis, go ahead and let the people know who you are, kind of give some of your branding info, and, just kind of give us the background of where all of this came from.
The Real Crisis, that's back when I used to do music. Now people know me as the Inferno Chef, making cannabis-infused sauces. Side story real quick, because I got to say this for everybody.
Okay.
I got into this because of Quita. like when she had to give me more food, it inspired me to get back into cooking, because I've always loved being a chef. I went to Culinary Institute of America after I left VCU, but she really inspired me to go hard for it, you know what I mean? And it was something that when I seen her doing her food truck, it didn't matter if her whole body was aching, if she was, all that stuff. She would show up every weekend to give these people their food, give me more food. And it just inspired me to really go for what my passion was, which was cooking. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, friend. All right, so for those of you who don't know, once he started Inferno Chef, we still have kept in contact over the years. But he hit me up and he said, hey, I had talked to I was in a different group and this came across, so give me your thoughts on it. We usually have these discussions, random discussions about random topics. And he said, hey, what do you think about this whole gender role reversal? Or do women really want what they say they want until they get it, and then it's not really what they want, so to speak? So I'm going to let him tell the story. I mean, for people that's on Facebook, you just get to see my beautiful face for a couple minutes, and then we're going to jump into some questions. So y'all listen up. Y'all listen up, okay? All right.
So what happened is I was in a different, and by the way, I want all black men to understand there's nothing wrong with being in a group as a black man that has like black male conversations where there are sometimes uncomfortable conversations, because that's where this came from.
Okay.
There was a gentleman in the group who said that he owned a business. It was a landscaping business, but he didn't make as much money as his girlfriend made.
Okay.
But yet his girlfriend was still expecting him to pay the majority of all the bills, even though she made more money. And it made the people, like, the conversation went, you know how social media is. Sometimes these type of conversations they degenerate into nonsense because people try to be funny and whatnot. But I legit actually had questions like, hey, if she's clearly making, like, if you own a landscaping business and she has a freaking degree in psychology, is she expecting you to still pay the lion's shares of the bill? Because if that's the case, then that means that she wants you to operate outside of something that you may have already been doing before you even met her. Like, this landscaping business existed before he was with her. He inherited it from his father.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I thought that was an interesting topic, because I wondered whether or not women still believe that a man's supposed to pay the lion's share of everything, and regardless of how much money you make in comparison to what he makes.
Okay. So for those of you that are on Facebook, I do see a comment here real quick. It says, for role reversals, do women want the same thing as men? Men may want a meal. Does a woman want that? Or does a man get gifts? Because a woman wants gifts. So
I feel like that's too simplifying, though. So and I'm just saying this because I was raised in a West African home. Like, my mother was very on right and exact in terms of what she expected her sons to understand about the world before she let them out into the world.
Okay.
It's not just about a meal. Like, the meal, that's too simplifying. You know what I mean? So, like, my question, though, is, like, we live in an era now where women don't always respect men who are doing certain types of jobs.
Okay.
Because we've been taught to believe that, you know, if he's not able to do X, Y, and Z, then that means that he's not really a man. And that's not even a fair assessment, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? But I guess what I'm trying to get is, and this is the reason why I asked you to even bring up this topic, I wanted to know whether or not that was just propaganda, or is that really the way women think?
So I can only speak for Quita. So Quita, no. I feel like there are, because there are some men, depending on how I met you, if I'm in the military, I've been in 18, 19 years, I'm an E7. What if I meet a man that's an E6? He's going to be making less money than me. What if he's been in less time than me? What if he's been in 10 years? He's going to be making less money than me. Do I still expect him to cover all of the bills? No, because Quita was paying her bills before I met him. So my expectation is to just help where you can. So I know that I expect a certain type of thing, though. So I still expect to be treated a certain type of way. I still expect to be...
So, time out. I want you to slow walk these people on this one.
Slow rock them.
So now you're talking about being treated a certain type of way.
Right.
So now the question then becomes, what's more important to you? Is it the financial commitment, or is it being treated like a lady? Like, do you which one resonates with you more? Is the question.
So I don't feel like that's an easy question. And the reason I say that is because I feel like it should be both. So because I have been in relationships where I've been with men who had all this money, right? But then you couldn't love me the way that I needed to be loved. So just because you had money and we could probably live a certain way, but I'm still not being loved the way I wanted to be loved, would that make me stay? Or I was being loved, but I'm like, I'm tired of eating at McDonald's. I want to be able to go out and have somewhere nice to eat every once in a while. So I also know men that work 2 and 3 jobs in order to make sure that a certain lifestyle, especially whenever they started dating that woman, they know that she was accustomed to a certain way of living. He is not trying to take away from what she's living. So if you can't add to that person, it doesn't matter how much you love them, right? It doesn't matter how much you love them. What matters is if you are a equal party, or you're willing to either she's willing to take away from herself and say, I'm gonna have to live a little differently, or I'm sorry.
Equally yoked?
Equally yoked is not an easy one for me either. Because there's still going to be some give and take on both sides. So what I may feel is equal to me may not be equal to you. You see what I mean? So the equally yoked thing is naturally a Christianity walk when it comes to spiritual walk. But that's not necessarily for financial. That's not always naturally for, say, your stimulation or your drive, your motivation, your ambition. All of that to me goes into equally yoked. But for some people, it doesn't. So this is why when you're in that dating phase, you need to have those types of discussions. You need to be able to say.
So hold on. I need you to slow up. No, I mean, I really do, because like, Quita, you already know how much I respect your perspective.
Very much so.
I respect the hell out of your perspective, and I want people to fully absorb what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So based off of what you just said, is it safe to say that equally yoked is perspective based?
Correct. In my mind, yes.
Okay. So now, because it's perspective based, let's use you as an individual, because common sense is not common. It's subjective.
Right.
So you as an individual, I know you to be a person who makes no excuses about anything. I've literally never known you to make an excuse ever. You either do it or you don't do it. It's one or the other.
Right.
So for what you require, do you feel like as if a person just being ambitious is enough?
It is not.
Or they need to show you something tangible that they've.
Yes.
Right.
So the reason I say that is because those of you that know I ran to get married, he was ambitious. He had goals. He had vision. However, for me, it still wasn't enough. He could have loved the stink out of me. He could have loved my dirty draws. But it took more than just you loving me and you're having goals for me to stay. I still wanted to be able to go somewhere nice. Every once in a while, I want to go on Fashion Nova or go shopping on Amazon, and I don't want you to say we can't do that. Well, I couldn't do that last month or the month before, so what can I do? And at some point, I want to feel like there is a openness and a willingness to say, Quita, baby, here go $50. I made a little extra money this time, so go ahead and do something nice for yourself. Go get your nails done, or go get you a new wig. Or
so let me ask you a question. If he makes less money than you,
right?
But he's still hitting you up with the, hey, go get your nails done. Go get that manicure. Go get that pedicure. Is that okay in your book?
It is, as long as he's taking care of his business, right?
What do you mean by break it down? Break it down. Because what you're about to do for everybody who's watching, she's about to break down to you what she believes a man actually is, and I need her to do this because she's never done this before, and this is something that I've always felt like she should have done to be able to explain to people what a man is in her mind.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yes, I do feel like a man should still take care of his finances, take care of his household, take care of his obligations before you give to me. I was taught self-preservation.
Before he gives to you or before he meets you? Be specific.
Even before he meets me, he should already have been taking care of that. So I don't need you still trying to, I don't know where I heard it from, but I heard a man tell his son, you are not ready to be a man no matter the age if you cannot take care of yourself. You're outside of my house, you're taking care of yourself completely, wholeheartedly, and you got extra money to spend on another woman. So if you can't take her out to a nice restaurant, you can't pick her up because you don't have a car, you can't call yourself a man. You can call yourself an adult, but you can't call yourself a man until you are able to be solely dependent on yourself, taking care of yourself without me taking care of you as your father figure. So I think today I was on a panel at work, and I also heard a gentleman tell, he said, the first 2 promotions, that's for you to take care of you. Before you try to take care of somebody else should be your 3rd promotion. Now you can start to add another person in. You can be friends.
When you said promotion, you're talking about financially, like from a job.
Financially, correct.
Okay.
So financially, you should, because usually when you come in, you're getting the bare minimum, right? Right, being a male and being a man are 2 different things, correct? So
who's that? How do you pronounce that name?
I don't know how you pronounce it on there, but that's Janelle.
But that's a fact, though.
It is. So then to be able to say, right. So the things that you are discussing ahead of that time. So when you come into a job, you get the bare minimum, right? And they say, oh, there's still the opportunity for you to promote. You're like, wonderful. So then once you promote, now you're starting to feel like, you start to say, okay, now I got more money, blah, blah, blah. But you have already taken care of yourself. You're not so far in debt that you are, robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. You are taking care of yourself.
Time out. Don't skip over certain shit. Tell these people about the robbing. Tell these people about how you can find yourself in a situation.
You can.
Because you care about somebody. You put yourself in debt, trying to help them become the potential that you see in them. Talk about that for a second.
Amen. All right. So I have been the one that was giving everything that I had to take care of a man, to give to a man, to build onto his dream, his vision, his ambitions, and then it left me without. So then I'm not eating. I'm going to the Dollar Tree just to try and find what meals I can piece together to eat. Yet that man now he's driving he's driving a Jag with 4 new tires, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay my bills. It had to be a point to where I finally had to grow up and say, you wasn't a man in the first place. So how could I expect you to be my man if you didn't know how to be a man and you were still a boy? You were a adult male and not a man. But because I have to, as a woman, and even at that time as an adult female, because I couldn't say I was a woman because I was still looking for somebody else to validate me. I was still looking for outside of myself. Correct. I was looking for someone else to say, I love you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be there for you. We're going to have this beautiful life together. We're going to make this right. It is a, and I see on the chat, some people are talking about the team. It's supposed to be a team. It's supposed to be a team.
I see that too.
Right.
Before you continue, I gotta address. So be still. Hold on. How do I go back? Oh, be still. Your comment was so dope, and I can't see it again.
You just have to swipe up on your screen.
Yo, that's crazy.
All right. Talking about that. Sounds good. Until she pays the bills and role reversal starts to get into her. Okay.
So I want you to speak to that, because here's one of the things that I learned. My mother told me when I was a child that a woman will respect you as long as you're being a man. She said once you stop being a man, she's not going to respect you.
Okay.
That's literally what my mother told me. Literally. And the thing is at the time, I didn't fully understand what she meant. But what she meant, as I became older and as I had mentors, was it was about being decisive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No woman wants to be led by a man who doesn't know where he's going.
Right. That's about being a leader. And being a leader in the household, being the head of the household, means that you should be leading, right? But at times, like we talked about in the beginning, the man started off with he was probably making more money as a landscaper. She was in school. She didn't have money. She wasn't bringing in money, right? So then whenever, at that time, he was the head. He was bringing in money. She didn't have the money. So then at some point, then the roles changed. The problem was, once it changed, she was not willing to still say, you're still the man. I make more money. But now we have already established this teamwork. So what somebody else was saying in the group chat is, when you're a team, there's going to be times when your star player gets hurt. What do? You got to go ahead and you got to pick up the pieces, right? So picking up the pieces does not mean that now I'm the star or I'm the head of the team.
So hold on, because I don't want to lose the chat. I'm about to sound like the dude who said "Hey, Ron" on that. Like, I'm about to just fuck up all the name spelling on all this. But if she's saying, if you can't lead self, then you can't lead me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I understand. Like, I've learned to understand this about all women.
Mm-hmm.
Women, black women in particular. Black women, because I know it's this weird ass narrative that we got going on where it's like black men against black women, and listen, there is no black community without black women. Period. All you fellas out there who might not like that, it sucks to be you. There's no black community without black women. Period. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what it comes down to is, does she respect your grind? Because here's the one thing that we do know. Men are literal. Women are inspirationally based.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see your potential.
Which
They're
is
more
also
attracted to your potential than they are your reality. I know that the world would like us to believe that they're more attracted to your reality, but that's BS. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you see plenty of ugly ass motherfuckers.
Hey, language.
Oh, my bad. You see a lot of ugly ass mofos with women who see the potential in them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they understand that he has the ability to be greater than what he already is.
Mm-hmm.
So from our standpoint, we need to be able to do our part, which is what? We have to protect the treasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this is the part where the disconnect is being created.
Mm-hmm.
Because for some reason, the women and the men don't always see the value in that joint connection. You know what I mean? So they're looking at it like, oh, okay, well, he's just doing his thing, she's doing her thing, but they're not understanding that if they do that thing together, then they can move further than they can have ever moved on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, when I listen to what you're describing, what it sounds like is as though people just aren't taking their time to figure out what it is they really want.
Right. And I see right here that my homegirl Shan right here with Purpose in Me is saying most women don't have an issue submitting and supporting a man that knows how to lead. We're just tired and we can't do it all. And the problem is that in some aspects, women have been leading more than they've been able to follow. And so part of that...
Purpose of Me, real quick, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to make a comment. Purpose of Me. How many times have you come across a man that you wanted him to lead, but he didn't know how to?
And I think for me, that's more times than not. There's a handful of men that I've dated that I was like, okay, he can lead. I can trust him to lead. The problem either was I was not willing to follow, or I wasn't in the mindset where I was willing to follow.
The mindset where you're not willing to follow, that usually has to do with age. That's usually when you're younger.
And yeah, especially in my 20s, I was like, I want to do what I want to do. I don't really want to be in a relationship and listen to what you say.
But the first part though, where you don't trust him to lead,
right? Because I don't trust even the how he's led his own life. So if I don't trust how you've been leading your own life, can I trust you to lead my life? And the answer was usually no. And I had to make that hard decision to say, I want you, but it's not going to work. Because at some point, I'm not going to respect you.
Hold on. So, Be Still 21 says you got to address the woman out there. Always know when a woman wants us for other things.
Oh, he said, okay. Do you got to know when a woman wants you for you or for other things, meaning financially?
Right.
Okay.
All right. So let me put this out there for you. I did music for 18 years, actually almost 20 years. I used to tour with Jim Jones, Cameron, all that shit. I understand what it's like to be the person who's attractive only because you're on stage. That part is not what I'm referring to. What I'm referring to is a person who genuinely wants to get to know you and genuinely wants you to lead. So here's the thing. A lot of times, because of the society that we live in, we're taught to believe that everybody is the same.
Mm-mm.
It's so weird because we're like, oh, everybody has an agenda. Does everybody really have an agenda? Like, Quita, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Since you've known me.
Mm-hmm. Have you had an agenda? No.
Canopy.
Right.
All types of shit.
Right.
Have you ever known me to have some special agenda?
No.
Okay. So, my thing is this. I'm my mother's son. The same way you hear Kwame Brown talking about mama's cooking, I'm my mother's son.
He cooked. He throw down. He showed me out.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna act the way that my mother raised me to act.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you've never known me to be in a manner where I've never disrespected you, I've never talked crazy, none of that shit, anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a gentleman and always been about my word. So I say that to say this. We use these different things as crutches. All I'm saying now is that we're past that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more crutches. Be a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you be a woman,
mm-hmm.
like, there's no more crutches. Let's stop using the crutches because the crutches are easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. But if we're trying to actually affect change, that means that we have to actually call ourselves out.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
And be willing to say when we're on some nonsense.
So with that being said, right here, Shan just said, a lot of times we haven't dealt with past trauma, and that shows up in front and center on how we lead or how we fail to lead, how we were taught to be strong but not vulnerable. So if you look before for the advertisement, that was a big thing. I still want my man to be able to be sensitive. I still want him to be able to cry in front of me. I still want him to be able to be like, babe, let's go to the beach and hold hands. I still want that lovey-dovey type of stuff. However, right. Some women, like if a man cry in front of me, he weak. It just depends on the woman. So this is why, Will also said there's a difference between protection and controlling, right? I think that if I cannot be completely open and honest with you and show you my scars, my bruises, my bumps, the few little Walmart bags I still got, and I'm still trying to unload them, right? If you're not willing to be like, yo, I can't deal with no Walmart bags, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got your stuff in this suitcase that I'm carrying, then you ain't rocking, you know what I mean? Because we all got some form of baggage. It just depends on who you find that's willing to help you unpack and help you to heal and say, do you really need this? Right? Right. See, men are human and they do have feelings. It's just about the type of woman that they're looking for. All men don't need a...
Hold on, Quita.
Mm-hmm.
How real could I be on this podcast?
100%.
Okay. So, all of y'all in the family, and I'm going to call y'all family, because if y'all fuck with Quita, that means y'all family.
Language.
She don't just have a bunch of random motherfuckers.
Hey, language. You about to get it.
Right. So check this out, yo. Quita said this to me one time, right? Once upon a time, different lifetime and shit. Because we really good friends now. But once upon a time, she asked me if I was doing college shit. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, if you're still talking to so-and-so, you're doing college shit. I said, all right, cool. I said, you know what? You're right. It's still college shit.
Mm.
Her exact quote is, when you're done with college, let me know. That was the most grown woman shit I've ever heard in my life. Ever in my entire life. Like, literally. That was the most grown woman shit I've ever heard in my entire life. She said, when you're done with college, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, goddamn.
But there has to be a woman, whether a intimate partner or a friendship, that, okay, so he wants, okay.
You understood your value.
Right, okay, so he wants me to explain that. So when you are in college, right, you still doing high school stuff, a little bit of high school stuff. You still learning who you are. You still don't really know who you are yet. College is still that weird transition where you kind of want to be grown because now you're 18, but you don't really know how to be grown. So when I was telling him, stop doing college stuff, figure out who you are. You trying to act like you grown, trying to act like you hard, trying to act like you got it all together, but you really don't. So when you find out who you really are, what? What was you saying?
It was the realest shit ever.
Right. So then, until you figure out what you really want, so you can't just be dating whoever just because they like you, because there's plenty of fine folks that like you, but are they the one that you need to be with? So at some point, you got to date them.
Slow down, and walk it back. You do this like DJ Clue, aka Slay. Walk it back.
We already went over time. We got 10 more minutes.
Say that part again, though.
Okay. When you're talking about college stuff meaning you still got a little bit of high school, yet you're still trying to transition to adulthood. When you are trying to figure out who you are and what you really want in relationships, that comes with dating. That comes with figuring out who and what type of person you need in your corner. Because just because you find and make money don't mean that I need you in my corner. It sounds good, it look good on paper, but that might not be what I need. I have a whole medical situation where my body ails me. So guess what? I don't care how much money you got if you ain't never gonna be home. I don't need that. I still need someone that is right and accounted for and still loving and is not going to point their finger at me, say, I can't believe you ain't got up all day today. I don't need that. So then you have to be able to have those hard grown-up conversations. So that's why I said, when you're done playing college, let me know when you're ready to be an adult about it. So now you understand that no matter how fine she is, be like, dang, I love to have that one on the team. At some point, you got to be like,
the greatest statement ever made.
You got to keep it moving. Like I'm saying, I have dated some of the finest, and I have dated some of the men that had money. Right. I have the biggest and the baddest in more than one way. And I had to still say, but that's still not for me. My baggage at now is a different type of baggage than it was 10 years ago. It's a different type of baggage than it was 5 years ago. We evolve, and you have to find someone who is willing to evolve with you and grow with you. Could I be with someone who said, I don't want you doing any type of social media interaction? I'd be like, oh, you got the wrong chick. That's not me. Because I feel like my passion is people and taking care of people and helping people to evolve and grow. If you got with somebody who did not understand that, at what point would it become now a disadvantage to your livelihood? It didn't matter how much money they had. It didn't matter how good they treated you if they kept you in seclusion, if they didn't let you be yourself. Right? The grind doesn't stop. just because you become of age. The grind is not necessarily always about money either. The grind is about self-improvement, self-growth, self-love. It, depending on where you are in your life, the grind, it comes in many different facets. So I really want us to understand when it's time for role reversal. I still need to have times where I'm going to be like, no, I'm going to take care of this. But Quita, babe, you go ahead, take care of the kids. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this chick that's disrespecting our kids. I'm going to let her know she's not going to disrespect my children. I'm going to be the masculine one today. Could I let him do it as my husband? Don't worry, but this is woman to woman, so I'm going to be the masculine one, and I'm going to go ahead and handle it. Ma'am, excuse me. Excuse me. I need to talk to you. Right? Because there's sometimes that a woman, you got to stand up. If somebody is following behind you, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to buck up and be like, can I help you, sir? Because you be following me a little too close. But because I have learned how to be my own voice, I learned how to speak up. And like my grandmother was talking about today, at some point the military has taught me more things than not. Right? Right?
I just want the entire world to understand that this conversation is not a new conversation, one. And two, she's more than capable of taking care of herself. You know what I mean?
We talk about that on a different show, yeah.
She said it from day mother fucking.
Hey, language. You
all right, my bad. She said it from day one. She's literally said it from day one. And for these guys out here, it's not like you set up to fail, blah, blah, blah. No. The problem is that a lot of you motherfuckers have this weird ass thing where you can't just be honest. Be honest, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you realize that 90% of these women just want you to tell them the truth?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They'll deal with you on the truth.
Yeah. I think even if they don't like the truth, they'll be like, I can respect you because you told me the truth. They might not like it.
Even if your truth is complicated.
Right.
They'll still deal with you.
They'll say, all right, I don't like that. Or they'll say, give me some time to work with you still. You know what I mean? Because me having to work with someone that I don't agree with their perspective, I'm willing to at least discuss it with you. Because now you're giving me the opportunity to give my side.
What you're referring to is slapping the squirrel. I got you. Right. No. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we talking about slapping the squirrel, and we were right. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like, let them work with that. It's like, it is what it is. But it's like when you start getting in this weird space where you don't want to tell people nothing, then it's like, oh, okay, so you're just going to live a life on lies. And it's like, why? For what?
But then you see the comment right here. It says, some men are truthful and they still get punished or judged. And the people that judge you or punish you are not the type of women that you need to be involved with.
Right. Tell them that part.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already been through that. The thing is that, here's the thing. I don't, here's what I learned in life. What I learned in life is that I don't try to make other people feel my pain. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that at all, because my mentor taught me that people are going to write themselves into or out of my story. I don't need to provide resistance either way.
Mm-hmm.
And what would happen is, if something was going on, it's like, oh, well, something's going on, blah, 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 well, we got to do this. I'm like, bro, I don't need no effort on my end. You know what I mean? I don't need ever, period. And the reason why is because of the fact that once they write themselves out of my story, I'm not the one losing. And the reason why I'm not the one losing is because I'm not a bad motherfucker. Like, I'm a regular, look, I got a good heart. I treat people the right way. I'm my mother's son. Speaking of that, mama's cooking, like Kwame Brown said. I'm my mother's son. And because of that, I treat people the right way. I'm never going to treat, like, my mom did not raise me to treat black women in a negative manner.
Please beware, his black woman status is because that is what he deals with. So those that are not black, please don't take offense to it.
But please don't get mad. I just don't deal with nothing outside. But look, I'm like, yo, I wasn't raised to treat them anything other than the way that they're supposed to be treated. So I don't look at it like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to yell at her and just, why? For what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my mama told me that black women were the cornerstone of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be no civilization without black women. So because of that, I'm always going to treat y'all on a different scale than everybody else. But at the same time, I also got to make sure that when I'm talking to y'all, that y'all understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes y'all got to understand that the shit y'all be saying is crazy. It doesn't always make sense.
And it's true. There's still some women and men that say things that don't make sense. All right, so we got 2 minutes. Give me some parting words. What you got?
Follow Quita, because she's going to always give y'all the type of stuff that'll inspire you to become better than what you already think you are. That's what she did for me. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell y'all. Like, she literally made me believe that I could be the Inferno Chef. And I became the Inferno Chef because of her. So, this is what everybody can do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. So, I know that since I skipped last week, we are going to come back next week. Actually, we may revisit this for a part 2. So we might jump onto this, probably not next week, but the week, a week after. We're going to see what we can get on his schedule and see when the next time we can do a part 2. But next week, we are talking about dry clean only. I know y'all wondering where I'm going with that. So next week, we're going to come back for the following week, which is something out of my ordinary, but we're going to come back next week for dry clean only. And please, please, please don't miss out on what dry clean only is going to be about. Okay? So we will be back same time, same place, live on IG, live on Facebook. We will be talking about dry clean only. If you have not followed me on Instagram, on Facebook, on IG, on TikTok, figure out how to get there. Look in the description below and you should be able to find me. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. I know this is different, y'all. Next week we are doing
Hey,
yeah.
next week she's gonna have the Egyptian necklaces on.
Next week I will have the Egyptian necklace on, just because you said it. I will see y'all next week. Y'all be blessed. Peace, love, and joy. Make sure that you share and empower somebody else. All right. Y'all be resilient. Bounce back. I see